Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stitch Sessions. We have a really cute and quick crochet tutorial for you today, and it is holiday related. So this is going to be actually super quick and I think so cute. So we are going to make, and I've done a few of these here, some of these little Christmas bell ball ornaments. And you can, I'm thinking more like if you're looking for a vintage feel and look to hang on more of a vintage tree or anything like that. And I find that a lot of the fiber crafts and ornaments are back in again, a little bit of that rustic theme. So I've done some with some bows here. And in fact, this yarn came out really cool. I used this yarn in last year's crochet stocking, and that was Christmas of 2019, where I worked on the stocking from the cuff down. And if you're interested and curious to check that out, I'll leave a link for it in the description box down below. But these are super quick and cute and will look really cool on some vintage style type trees. I mean, you don't even necessarily have to put on trees. Like, I even like it just kind of on its own. But it's really a fun, quick Christmas little decor item we can make. So that's what we're gonna work on today. So let's get cooking here. Okay, so let's talk about the materials we're gonna need to work on these projects. And by the way, if you're curious about some of our other holiday projects, I will leave a link to that playlist in the description box down below. And by the way, if you're not subscribed already, you really should make sure that you do so that you stay up to date every time we upload cool videos like these, all right? Okay, guys, so in order to make our Christmas balls, we'll call them, or ornaments, I should say, you're going to need, I would recommend some bulky yarn. And again, if you're interested in checking out this yarn here, I will leave a link for it in the description box down below. I don't have the label for it anymore. I have to say, I haven't seen it this year. So you may be able to order it, I'm not sure. But it's totally up to you. But for today's tutorial, I am using this fabulous yarn, and it's the Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. And I just adore this color. This came out last year, and I just couldn't figure out what I was gonna make with it. But it is called Antique, and it's kind of like this peachy pinky color. It comes in a 340 gram ball. I mean, obviously this is actually definitely a scrap project. So any scraps you have lying around of bulkier yarn, I would recommend bulkier yarn. You can use a medium 4. This one is considered a bulky 6. Right? But I just find the bulky yarns just come out a little bit prettier. The hook I'm going to be using for this project is a 6.5 millimeter hook. It's also known as a K or a 10.5. Now, this particular yarn calls for a size 9 millimeter hook, but I'm just going to go with this one. It's nice and easy to work with. As always, make sure you have a handy pair of scissors and a darning needle close by to sew in any ends. So let's get cooking. So to create our little ball here ornament, we are going to use a cinch circle to work with. So it's kind of like creating a slip knot without resolving it, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna wrap, I like to kind of wrap it around 3 fingers until it crosses. And I just take my fingers out so that I've got a loop like that, okay? And I just usually hold that down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert my hook and I'm gonna pull up a loop as if I'm gonna do a slip knot, but I'm not going to pull it shut. I'm just gonna keep this where it is, and this is where it gets a little awkward, okay? And I'm just gonna chain 1 here to secure. Okay, so now my cinch circle is in place. And I always just like to pull that tail out of the way. So here we have it. We've got our circle. It's also known as a magic ring or a magic circle. And we've got our tail. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to pull up that chain 1 a wee bit. Okay. And we're going to be using what I like to call the mini puff stitch. And I call it mini, not because it's short, but because we don't pull over as many times as we would when we're doing a traditional puff stitch. So if you saw my wedding capelet tutorial, I used the mini puff stitch in that tutorial. And I'll put a link for that down below as well. So this is how it's going to work. So you're going to stretch this loop up a little bit higher. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the circle and pull up a loop. But what you want to do is you want to pull it up similar to the height of that other loop that you pulled up. So you've got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and then go into the circle again to pull up another loop. Okay, so you basically, at this point, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 loops are on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and pull through 4 of those 5 loops. So you're just going to kind of work your way through. Okay, just like that. So you have 2 loops left. Then you will yarn over and pull through all of them. Okay, so it creates like a little puffed kind of bead there. Okay, so that's your first puff stitch. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and create 8 puff stitches into your circle. Okay, so we've already done 1, so here's the next one. You'll yarn over, insert into the circle, pull up a loop nice and tall like that, same height as the previous one. You will yarn over, and I like to just kind of keep my fingers here to secure the length there. I will reach into the circle and pull up another loop. So at this point, you're going to have 5 loops in total. Make sure your tail doesn't get away from you. You need to keep it there. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through 4 of these loops. And it does get a bit tricky to handle all this, but just be slow, take your time. Pull this loop through 4 of the 5 loops. So just before the last one, then yarn over and pull through them both. Okay, so see now it's starting to puff out. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. Yarn over, pull up a loop, stretch it, yarn over again, insert, pull up another loop. Now yarn over, pull through 4 of the 5 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so you've got 3 puffs there. So what you want to do is go ahead and do 5 more so that you have 8 in total. And don't worry if this is still feeling loosey-goosey. We want that for now, okay? So go ahead and do your 8, and I'll meet you back here shortly. This is my very last one. So I've got 8 puff stitches, and you can see it probably looks really, really funny right about now. My tail is here. So I'm just going to kind of push this out because this is how I want it to round out here. And I want to take this tail, really important, and I'm going to cinch these close together. So as I pull this tail, see how that just cinched it? So now our top, see, so our puff stitches now look like the beginning of a ball or a little bell, right? And then just going to ignore that tail there. And so now what I want to do is find the top of that very first puff stitch, which is right there, and I'm going to slip stitch to join. Okay. Slip stitch to join. And that's basically half the job is done right there. Okay, one more round. That's it. That's all. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and then pull up a loop a little bit more. And we're going to reach back into the spaces. So see these spaces between the puffs? We're going to work into those spaces. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a puff stitch in between each. So we will yarn over, insert into the space, pull up a loop, stretch it nicely, yarn over, insert again back into the same space, and then we're going to pull through 4 out of the 5 loops just like we did before, and then resolve. Okay, so we got this really cool effect. And then that's what we're going to do. So you're going to do 1 in between each of these puff stitches. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I will meet up with you when you've finished all of your puff stitches. And that was my very last one. And then I'm going to find the top of that first puff stitch I did. It's going to look a little funny because remember we pulled up that chain 1 and then we kind of did it on a slant. So if you have a hard time, let me just push that tail down so it's out of our way. You can always just look at the tops of the stitches right around there and you can see that's our first one. So we're going to slip stitch to join, and we're just about done. And you're going to pull it through. Okay, so you can see that's what creates that really cool rounded shape. And because we didn't do any increasing, so we had 8 puff stitches, and then we ended up with, I believe, 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. And so it causes it to curl down and under, and see we've got a nice small opening there. And so there is our little Christmas bell ball. Reminds me of a bell. You know those little bells that kind of tinker? That's the shaping it reminds me of. And I so love the texture that this puff stitch creates. Now, once you're done here, you're just going to snip your yarn. Okay. And then I'm going to just pull that through. Now what you want to do to create the loop, this is where it's actually going to come in handy, is you want to take your hook and poke it right through the center there. And you are going to pull this up here. Now here's a little trick I'm going to show you. I'm going to create a knot, give or take. So I'll start down low. Going to create a knot here. Maybe you're going to knot it twice, and you want those knots to be right close to each other. Let me just do that once more. So I'm looking to create a bit of bulk. There we go. See, we've got that bulk. So I reach down, and what I want to do is I want to pull that longer tail up. Ta-da! Creates a loop. So if I pull it up, see where we knotted it? That's where it'll stop. Well, or maybe not. So that was a fail. So I'm going to turn this. That is so funny. I was all excited to show you guys. It worked before, but you have to, sometimes you got to knot it a little bit thicker. Or the other thing you want to do is, remember that tail from the cinch? I'm going to tie that here, which will also create a little bit more bulk, and it will secure it from unraveling. And then if you find the loop is a little bit too long for hanging, you can always just create the knot a little bit further down as well. So I'm just doing a whole bunch of knots here. Okay. And we're going to try this again. So here's my loop. I'm pulling that through. There we go. That feels a bit better. And then anything extra, I just kind of stuff it in under there. And there you go. There is your cute and quick Christmas bell ball ornament. So you can have a whole collection of them. And as you can see, some of them I put little bows. I had ribbons on them. This one just worked out perfectly because I had some silver ribbon left over. Now, this one's not attached yet. You can, because you know, making the perfect bow is always crucial with ribbon. You can tie it around, or you can actually glue it down. I had actually made a few of these for another ornament project, and that's why this one's not tied around. But it just comes together so nicely, and I think, especially if you're going for that vintage vibe, I definitely think putting a ribbon around it just will look beautiful. And I'm so loving this color. It's like this dusty pinky peachy color, and it's just perfect, especially if you're doing something a little bit art deco-y kind of Christmas. I think these colors work out great. So there you have it, cute and quick. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's crochet tutorial. It's always so much fun to show you guys some of my ideas and creations, and I'd really love it if you guys tag me on the Instagram and show me some of your color choices for your projects. I always love kind of seeing what you guys are up to. I love having you guys come along. Make sure that you check out our website, crochetcrafty.com. We've got lots of stuff happening there. We've got online interactive classes. We have tons of free tutorials, of course, but the live interactive classes are great because I can look at your work and give you some feedback, and they're very reasonably priced. And we found a lot of people have been really enjoying them. So I hope you come along. And we also have an Etsy shop. So if you are looking for some more Christmas written patterns, if you're someone who prefers the written pattern, we have a few of those up on our Etsy shop, which is Crochet Crafty Canada. In the meantime, it has been my pleasure to work with you guys, and I so look forward to seeing you guys next time. As always, take good care, happy crocheting, and I'll see you guys in the next session.